Tim.
There you go.
Tim, I want you to meet Jan and Ann
Hi, Ann.
and Barbara.
Hi.
Barbara.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet
Is it
you.
Tim?
It's Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
These ladies are from Quilts of Valor.
Quilts of Valor.
Something we've probably never heard of before.
We have information for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I put my phone or my purse over here.
This is Jan, and I am Ann. Jan, and Barb.
Hi.
Maybe we'll have you sit here and Barb and I, or stand here. Yeah, I'll be here. And maybe we need to have you stand here. Or right here. Yeah.
Is there
Is that
something I
good?
should know about?
You'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out. No, you stand right up against this pen. Oh, you're putting your drink down.
It's okay. All around.
I thought we were gonna do a cake. I have 3 sons.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay.
Can you guys get closer together?
We'll have time for this.
Okay.
You gotta come in and say.
Yeah, come on over closer. I think I
Poor
can.
guy, he has no clue.
Okay.
We're gonna take you over to Maureen's house and you're gonna be sewing for the next.
Oh, I'm being sold into a sweatshop.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Okay,
I
goodbye.
think I'm a little old for that.
No, you're not older than me. I thank you for inviting us to be here tonight and to honor you. This is, you're gonna have to forgive me.
Every
She
time.
always does this. And you'll find out
This is to
why.
honor you for your service to our country. And a special thanks to Pam for nominating you from Michigan all the way to Oregon for Quilts of Valor. She is involved in Quilts of Valor at home. So knew about this, even though you may not have. And so she got a hold of our contact person here, who is Maureen or Eldred, whom I'm associated with. And Maureen is at the beach celebrating her 53rd anniversary, and she called me and asked if we could do it. And we said, we live right here in Hillsborough, we'll do it. And I understand you live in Gaston, is this correct?
Yes.
So do you know, now I'll go that later. So we are here representing the Quilts of Valor Foundation. My name is Ann Torgerson, and I am the daughter, the wife, the sister, the mother, and granddaughter of U.S. servicemen. I have a husband and 2 sons that retired after 20 or more years of service. My friends Jan and Barb, who are here with me today, have also been involved in Quilts of Valor and in awarding quilts to our service members. We feel very privileged to do this. Regardless of our backgrounds, what we share in common with virtually every Quilt of Valor volunteer is that we are regular American citizens who are grateful to our military service members and the sacrifice they have given. And this is our chance to be a small part of usually delayed acknowledgement of military service, which I'm sure yours was, regardless of the branch and regardless of whether the recipient has been in combat or not, which I know you have. Similar to all the military branches, the Quilts of Valor Foundation has a history and a tradition we would like to share with you. It is a grassroots group of quilters across the country, not only just in the United States now, but in Canada, England, quilters in Germany, Australia, and we award quilts throughout wherever our military members are. From the start, it has mostly been a volunteer operation, although now, because it has gotten so large, we do have a board, and the president of the board is in a paid position. In 2003, so just 15 years ago, Catherine Roberts, then a nurse in Delaware, had a son who was stationed in Iraq. And she felt just like I felt, 10 seconds away from panic, knowing that it could have been her son at any time. My sons were also deployed. It was much easier having my husband in the military than my sons. And I'm sure for Sharon and Pam, it was probably the same thing, having you deployed. Besides being a Blue Star mom, having a loved one serving in combat, Catherine is also a quilter. And she believed that the right way to handle any circumstance was to make a quilt. Making a quilt is what we do, and it's what Catherine did at that time. careful when.
Yes. Thank you.
During that time, Catherine had a dream, literally a dream, of a post-deployment soldier who was severely wounded, struggling to deal with his experiences. Later in her dream, she saw him wrapped in a quilt, and she saw that it comforted him. Thus, she determined that a quilt equals healing, and from that vision, the Quilts of Valor was born. Catherine's husband, at the time, was an emergency room physician in Delaware, and he had a contact with the chaplain at Walter Reed Hospital. Because of that, Catherine's first quilt went to a wounded soldier at Walter Reed, not her own son. Her own son was still deployed. She talked about that experience with her small quilt group, and they were interested in doing something similar. Through that chaplain at Walter Reed, she and her friends began to bring quilts there, and word was spread quickly. By early 2004, the Quilt Guild in Portland, Northwest Quilters, which is a huge guild, was involved making and shipping quilts to military hospitals around the world. Not in Oregon necessarily, but all over. Except that relative to now, it was a very small amount. It was all very informal then, but immediately it was a wonderful thing to be a part of. Catherine Roberts called these quilts for soldiers at first, but the chaplain at Walter Reed explained to her that although her son was indeed a soldier, not all military men are all military persons are soldiers. So the name was changed to Quilts of Valor. Secondly, he said that not all wounds are visible, and so she opened up Quilts of Valor to other active military, not just those in hospitals, and later to veterans from previous conflicts. In the first year, about 180 Quilts of Valor were awarded from quilters all over the country, so that was 2003-2004, without any real organizational structure. Now, almost 15 years later, the Quilts of Valor Foundation has become a fully registered nonprofit organization. There are over 9,000 U.S. volunteers, and about 5 years ago, separate Quilts of Valor organizations were established in Canada, Australia, and England, with Valor being spelled the really British way, V-A-L-O-U-R. In the beginning, it felt like 180 quilts was a lot to produce in a single year. Now, every week and every month is big for the U.S. Quilts of Valor Foundation. There were 447 quilts awarded and registered in the second week of August, 1,032 during the first 2 weeks of August. As of August 15th, a total of 194,078 Quilts of Valor have been awarded, registered here in the United States, and in our military hospitals in Germany, Iraq, Qatar, and Afghanistan. That's a lot of quilts, but please understand that our mission is to honor our service members and veterans who have been touched by war with comfort and healing Quilts of Valor. So we know we have a long way to go, literally millions of quilts to make and award, one individual quilt to one individual service member or veteran at a time. Forgive me. So Tim, today is your day. Quilts of Valor are considered the civilian equivalent of military honor, and they're a one-time award. They are not handed out or handed over, but they are individually awarded. We are privileged to honor you, who, like most veterans, served our country stateside or internationally when ordered and then returned to civilian life absolutely without thanks or acknowledgement. Vietnam veteran area, in particular, experienced a very difficult return to civilian life, but we really know it was not much better for any of our veteran groups. So sorry. What's really failing is his father's somebody not here to talk to. I'll turn off the sound. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
We would like to change that experience for our veterans, and in this individual case of yours, about 18 years after your Navy service, we can. Thank you for your service. Assigned as a nuclear submarine engineer, is that correct? And also your deployment to Afghanistan. For most of us, the experience you had in service years are beyond our capacity to comprehend, though you have experienced military life. Like my sons, who deployed into combat areas, for instance, absolutely comprehend, and they have a particular gratitude to you, to all the others who have served before and after them, as well as those two who are serving now. All of us who physically make Quilts of Valor resolutely believe that the quilt was awarded to you today has the ability to offer both comfort and warmth, We hope when you experience difficult times or need the warmth of a grateful hug, you will wrap your quilt around you so it can provide the comfort, the gratitude, and the love we have so eager to receive. I would like to tell you a little bit about this quilt of valor. This quilt is called the Civil War Sampler. It is a traditional American patchwork pattern. Variations of stars are probably the most popular single representational motif in all of quilting, and certainly the most popular motif for quilts of valor. This quilt was pieced by a friend of mine, Gail Richardson, and quilted by Laurel Hurdle, both of Beaverton. They continue to make several quilts of valor every year, in addition to other community work. And I can tell you, Gail, when I first took a quilt block as one of my pieces to my quilt group that Gail is in, I said, I'm not going to use 1930s reproduction fabric, I'm going to use red, white, and blue. And I want to make a quilt called Quilt of Valor. And the very next month, Gail brought a block that I've used probably 6 or 7 times to make quilts. In fact, the one I distributed this month was her block. So she's been very active in making quilts of valor. She has 2 daughters, but both of her sons-in-law have been in the service. Okay. Jan and Barb will honor you with the awarding of your Quilt of Valor. Timothy Reeves, on behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation, in recognition of your service and sacrifice for this nation, it is our privilege to serve, honor, and comfort you through the awarding of your Quilt of Valor. Though we may never know the depth of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, as a gesture of gratitude from a grateful nation, we award you your Quilt of Valor. Thank you for your service. And welcome home. Now, it is our tradition in Quilts of Valor ceremonies that your wrappers get to give you a hug. So if they give you a hug, you also have to know that I have to give you a hug. This quilt also comes with a presentation case, which you could use to store it in, but we like to think of it more as a pillowcase, and we'd rather you put a pillow in it and use your quilt, not store it. Use it every day. Well, in this heat, you might not want to use it every day. But it has been washed, it has been dried, and it can be washed and dried as much. We want you to wear it out. Okay? So again, on behalf of the American people and the Quilts of Valor Foundation, thank you for your service and welcome home. So how old are you, Tim?
47.
Okay, you're my eldest son's age.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. Now I
I
have
feel unworthy.
Oh, no. So, this is the certificate that officially validates your Quilt of Valor. It has been registered. You only get one, but we want you to use it. And, you know, in this climate, in our climate, in the wintertime, I know you will. And feel free to wash it and dry it. It's been washed and dried. If you run into a problem with colors fading, which I don't think you will, but if you do, there's this fluid called Retain that you put about 3 tablespoons in and nothing runs.
Thank you so much.
And now I need you to sign this little validation certificate that we may use the pictures.
Okay.
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 So you've never heard of Quilts of Valor, huh?
I actually have not.
See, I'm trying. Did you go to school in Yeston?
No. I went to school in Michigan.
Oh, in Michigan. Oh, that's true. You're from Michigan.
I'm sorry. Military school, I went in Orlando. And
Of what?
Idaho.
Idaho.
Idaho. There's a
The Navy
prototype
in Idaho?
facility in Idaho where you learn to run nuclear reactors.
I'm sorry.
Idaho National Engineering Laboratories.
I see my oldest was in the Air Force, and he went to learn to fly in Oklahoma. He flew the C-5.
Oh, those big transports. Yeah.
We got Subway sandwiches for everybody.
Oh my goodness.
I thought you might have gotten too much.
Now you know why. And the pillowcase has also been finished. It's really an honor for us to do this. No,
Thank you so much.
it's our privilege. So I will turn this into my friend Maureen.
Do you know what, does he get the transcript, the stuff that you read.
Do you want it? Do you want
Yeah,
it?
if it's just a copy and you've got another one.
Oh, I got on the computer. So this is the information that we received, and it was humorous, because when we came in here tonight, Maureen, who's celebrating her anniversary, she said this was in room
Okay.
201A. So we were talking to the gals up at the front, and then one gal said, well, we don't even have a room 201. Oh, great. So poor Maureen, I'll have to let her know, but yeah, you are more than.
Can we go out in that lobby and take a picture of you guys
Sure,
with
absolutely.
Tim with the quilt? So that there's a little more room to
Yeah.
take it.
Okay, here's the script.
All right.